And joining us now is Ambassador Alon Pinkas, former Israeli Consul General in New York. Ambassador, always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for your time. What was your first reaction to this International Court of Justice's decision, partial decision, today?
Well, okay, Jose, it's like this, like a yellow card in soccer and football. It was a stern warning. And, there are two ways of looking at it, or two takeaways. The first is the court said that, the court refrained from asking Israel to cease fire and to immediately halt any military operations. Had it chose to do so, it would have vindicated the argument that there could be a genocide, or that conditions for a genocide, for some form of genocide, exist. The court did not do that. On the other hand, as Matt Bradley, your correspondent, accurately put it, the court did issue provisional orders for Israel, all of which amount to a suspicion that those conditions for genocide could be met. Now, this is not genocide from a legal point of view because you need to prove intent. And intent is a very difficult thing to prove, and I'm pretty satisfied that there's absolutely no intent on Israel's side. However, if you look at the humanitarian aid and the medical aid that is stipulated in the ruling, you see that even though it's not mentioned specifically, Jose, the court is essentially saying there should be a ceasefire. Now, tie this now to the possibility of a hostage deal that is being discussed, deliberated, or negotiated, mediated by Qatar and indirectly by the U.S. And that also includes an extended ceasefire. So take those two together, we're looking at the possibility of a ceasefire. In and of itself, the decision was less than what Israel feared, but it's a major, major slap on the wrist.
Yeah, and Ambassador, you signed a letter along with 40 other former Israeli officials who are now calling on Prime Minister Netanyahu to resign. What do you think needs to happen? What needs to change?
But look, to be honest, Jose, he should have resigned on October 7th, and then on November 7th, and then December 7th, and then January 7th. And he's probably going to get to February 7th without resigning. So this letter is more, an expression of will and wishful thinking rather than a prescription or a plan of action. He needs to resign. Now, if he doesn't resign, resignation is nothing that I expect him to do. What he needs to do, what the political system needs to do, is to call for an election. Obviously, there is a heightened level of frustration with him in the U.S. and the Biden administration. Obviously, he has not cooperated on American visions of post-war Gaza. And obviously, he's not a partner in American eyes to what's called a reconfigured Middle East. So the pressure, the domestic pressure and the international pressure, particularly that coming from the U.S., will, I think, in the next 2-3 months, force him into calling for an early election. Now, there's one more thing, if I may add, Jose.
Yes.
His coalition is going to be extraordinarily resistant and opposed to the combination of the ICJ, the International Court of Justice's ruling, and the hostage deal, on grounds that a ceasefire fails to address Israel's war objectives, toppling, eliminating, eradicating, annihilating Hamas. And so I could see his coalition. I mean, there's a possibility of his coalition imploding within those 2-3 months period.